guys, welcome to the Coffee Break Interview video podcast. I'm Dr. Nathan Ho and I'm your host today. Today our special guest is Alex Nudel, the CEO of RevenueWell. RevenueWell is a patient communication platform founded in 2010. It is a fast-growing software company that has a single goal to help dental practices succeed. The practice marketing suite automates common patient communication processes from recall and activation efforts to social media posts and post-operative instructions. It also gives doctors the tools to attract, retain, and maximize the lifetime value of every patient in their practice. Welcome to the show, Alex. How are you today?
Hey, Nathan, I'm doing great. I'm excited to be a part of this show. I've been following you since, I want to say day one. When you created your first video on how to help the staff. And I saw you with a mop and a bucket. And the following day I came onto our office and everybody's like, what are you doing? It's like, everybody get out of my way. I'm going back to my roots. I'm going to wash the floors in this office.
There you go. You know what? I've been a customer of RevenueWell for, I think, for at least 5 years now. And it's been helping my practice a lot, right? And what I realized is, even though we are CEO, but we gotta be able to help our team members out sometime, right?
Correct. They're one of our biggest expense that we have on the P&L. So we absolutely have to invest in training them and doing a lot of marketing, not only doing the marketing, but planning. Doing the planning is very important.
That's right. So as a dentist, I don't have a lot of time to communicate with my patients or do a lot of marketing. So that's where revenue come in. But before I ask you some features about RevenueWell, let's start with your journey in dentistry real quick. How did you get into dentistry, and when did you create RevenueWell?
So many years ago, my ex-wife, who's a wonderful lady, Nudel, got accepted into several schools, and we decided to go to Nova Southeastern University here in Fort Lauderdale. And the whole entire time that she was going to school, I had my own business, but was very interested in helping her start her own company, and it was going to be wonderful. So we started our journey in 1997. About 20 years ago, we had a lot of the students come in. I would go and see how the school was doing the marketing and actually help them out a little bit with that. In 2001, I just sold one of the companies that I had, which was a high-tech company, and kind of retired for a little bit, not knowing what to do. And she said, hey, why don't you come on in and help me out with this practice? And so started literally from scratch. She showed me what she wanted, which was a very small type of a practice. I ended up speaking to our Patterson rep who was building out for her. He showed me a new place and literally built it out from scratch and started figuring out how to market it. Went through thousands of hours of continuing education, had one of the best coaches train me up, and figured out that if you're going to invest into something, dentistry is probably one of the best ways and sure ways to make some money.
Awesome.
So had a lot of challenges. And this is when a lot of different companies were coming up. Solution Reach was coming up. Demand Force was coming up. Lighthouse was coming up, and I was using some of those in our office. And what I found out is that we had to pay too many people fees because there was not one solid solution, and the solutions were not designed for practice growth. They were designed to help the office be more efficient and function, but nothing to do with dollars. And that's why it's RevenueWell, where we're looking at every practice as a well where we can get revenue out of.
Hey, what's a great story there. And I love the name of your company, RevenueWell, right? Just like a water well that we have to get water out from the well every day. So so you're not a dentist, and no. Are you a programmer?
I am not. So I am a business person. I make bets on companies. So I do invest in the stock market, but I am more interested in the way that we can help people grow. I am a growth specialist and I've transitioned several times. So what I found out is, where can we actually make an impact and get the right type of customers like yourself that are in a journey, trying to do things and focusing on many different things, but not on what you have inside already as much as getting new patients, getting new patients, getting new patients.
Got it. So, so what was your vision when you first created RevenueWell? Because I'm sure you had to think of all the features that dentists need to grow their practice, right? But there must be an ultimate vision that you had for RevenueWell before you even typed in the first code.
Well, that's correct. So what my vision was is to help those doctors that are not as good as the 10, 15% of the most successful doctors in sales.
Mm.
So here's what happens. I have a lot of companies reaching out to me today and saying, how do you guys do it? Because unfortunately, dentists have a really bad rap.
Yeah.
Everybody says they're no good business people. They're great people to help somebody, to heal somebody, to get them out of pain and to restore their mouth, but they're not really good in communicating with their patients. They also hire people that are not there for sales. They're there for
Yeah.
just helping out on a daily basis. The problem is that is so far from the truth. When you present a treatment, Nathan, you have a huge treatment acceptance. You can probably say 50, 60% of your patients say yes right away. Say, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. I'll either schedule or I will stay. The Fortune 500 companies dream of these numbers. The
Yeah.
problem where I saw, and the majority of the problem is, if you're 50% um, ability to get your patients to say yes, what happens to the other 50%? So I looked at a practice to where we had $1 million in accepted treatment for the year, and we also had $1 million that was not accepted. And I wanted to know how to go after that $1 million besides growing our practice with new patient acquisition. And the other thing is, what I wanted to do is to help them build that stronger relationship with their patient and their community by doing patient care. And that's why RevenueWell does the things that we do, because we're able to talk about a particular patient that has a particular treatment that you already diagnosed and you proposed. They said no, and your office really is not the best, and no one's is, and neither is mine, in
Yeah.
going after that. So we are now on a treadmill of, let me get new patients, let me get new patients. We all need new patients, but it is a lot cheaper to deal with your existing patients than it is to obtain new patients.
You're absolutely right. So that's why having a great communication tool is so important, because our team members won't call every day, and when they do call, they might call maybe 10 out of the 1,000 patients that we have in the software, right? And I
That's
read a
correct.
statistic somewhere that say that after the first week, or after the patient leave the practice, they forget 70% of what they heard about in the practice. And then after a month, I think 90% of them forget, or all of them forget about 90% of what was discussed in the practice. So having that communication tool that send them the email that talk about certain dental procedures, or having the ability to remind them of their recall appointments, or that they have pending treatments, it's so vital to a practice success. So you're doing a great thing and great service to dentists out there. So for the next question, I'd like to ask you to share some of the results that some of your super successful clients are getting right now.
Well, super successful is a state of mind.
Yeah.
Every practice is different. Some dentists offer a variety of services. Some are the bread and butter dentists. I'll do a crown, I'll do an inlay, onlay, I will refer this, I will refer that. And it's all good. What our super successful dentists are doing are marketing internally to their patients
Ah.
that have sleep apnea, or
Mm.
may possibly have sleep apnea, that have been diagnosed for a case. So here's what I learned. 80% of what we propose to a patient, they don't understand. Why? Because we are in the preventative business. We're trying to prevent things from happening. We're offering a service, a crown, to a patient that the tooth doesn't hurt yet. It's not
Hmm.
swollen yet. It's not bleeding yet. And so they're saying, why should I invest?
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. And also take a look at your practice that you recently built, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. Look at the way you propose treatment. You are basically betting everything on a visual patient. You have a computer monitor in front of them, probably this big,
Uh-huh.
and you're showing digital x-rays, and you're kind of circling, here's the decay. You're showing intraoral camera pictures. You're doing the education. That's why you're getting such a high treatment acceptance. When they leave, all of that is gone. There's
That's right.
nothing to show on the phone call. That's why we designed RevenueWell for a treatment plan follow-up that includes the procedure, that includes a video so they can share with their loved ones, that can include a link to Care Credit, which is a finance option. You know, I always ask somebody, how much is a crown? Well, everybody says a crown is $1,500. Well, how about $30 a month?
Mm.
Now that
It's,
becomes a lot more affordable to the
yes.
people that we're dealing with, because the best marketers in the world are not telling you the trends. People don't buy a $300,000 house, they buy a $1,500 payment. People don't
That's
buy
right.
a $30,000 car, they buy a $299 payment. And so we have the ability to attract those patients and help them figure out, number one, why do I need it? Number two, when do I need it and how do
Mm.
I pay for it? The other things are just a mystery. Yes, patients are afraid. We understand. But by providing that to them immediately and also creating a drip campaign. This is how the Fortune 500 companies work. Is they drip campaign. They put you through a funnel system. They feed you from the top down and eventually they get you to say yes. In dentistry, there have been no tool like this. So
Yeah.
we've been blasting, we can do implants, or we can say, you are a patient ABC that has a missing tooth that needs an implant, and this is how easy it is, and here's how to afford it. Now we're bringing those patients back in and getting them to say yes to treatment. And that
Yeah.
means huge. So if you're talking about large practices, we're always talking about return on investment. On average, RevenueWell, and that's where you are, is 10 times return. That means for
Mm.
every dollar you spend, you will get $10 back. If you are a dentist that is doing implants, that is doing single visit dentistry, that is doing cosmetic work, that is doing high valued cases, then you're doing 30, 40. I mean, a huge return on investment without having to invest huge into it. Because we all know that it costs about 10% to get a case. What do I mean? If I want a $1,000 crown, it'll cost me about $100 if I market it. If I want a $55,000 all-on-4 case, it'll cost me $5,000 to get. That's
Yeah.
what I have to do. And here, you're just communicating to your own patient base. So we recognize all kinds of different things about your practice management software.
Yeah.
We know dental codes. We can read charts. We know that sometimes you propose multiple treatments on the same tooth, and we're able to go get that patient and bring them back.
You know what? I gotta share my experience with you and the audience right now. So every year, right, our consultants would recommend us to send out the end of year use or lose benefit letter, and
Yes.
so every we would print out thousands and thousands of letters, and we would get the team together to put them in the envelope, put stamp on, put the address on, and then mail them off. This year, we're gonna use RevenueWell to create the campaign and send thousands and thousands of letters out within a couple of clicks.
Yes.
So that's pretty amazing right there. That means we saved like a lot of money on stamps and on labor costs. And going back to marketing, sometime when we want more implant treatments or cosmetic dentistry services done, we would have to spend $1,000 to market, whether it's through direct mail or on Facebook, right? Well, if we use
Correct.
RevenueWell to communicate with our patient or even to market to our existing patients, we don't pay any extra. I think your fee is only about $300 something, and that's it. Whether we use it 1,000 times or 100 times, right?
Yeah.
I believe that if we use RevenueWell and make hundreds of thousands of dollars and get a whole bunch of new patients or new patients in, you don't charge any more than the $300, right?
It's a single fee. It's a
Yeah,
single fee. And like you said, we have been adding feature after
yeah,
feature after feature to be best in class. I mean, that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to be best in class. We are. We have no contracts.
yeah.
So because of that, I mean, a guy like yourself, Nathan, I have to say, you're around a lot of people. You're teaching a lot of people these days. You're interviewing a lot of great companies that work, but you haven't jumped. You
Mm-hmm.
yourself are remaining and doing the course only because you understand what marketing is all about. Let me ask you a question, and this is something that most of the people don't realize, especially most of the dentists that are spending money. What type of return on investment when it comes to marketing are you looking for?
That's right. So usually, if we spend $10 and we make $50 to $100, that's great return on investments. Uh,
Okay, I will
for
say
that for
that that is
effort.
absolutely not.
Okay,
It's
uh,
not enough
it's not
because
enough.
we have no, no. So I'm a numbers guy,
Mm-hmm.
and we have something that is called overhead.
Yes.
So if our typical overhead is 60%,
Mm-hmm.
the first $6 goes to that.
Mm. Yeah.
You have not made any profit. And then you
Yeah.
have to figure out this way. What happens if Nathan decides tomorrow that you're going to take a trip for 3 months with your family and replace yourself with another doctor? That's another 30%.
That's
So
right.
whatever it is that you're making and taking home is also on the P&L.
That's right.
We need $9 for every dollar spent to break even.
Mm.
This is what we're not realizing because I'm hearing, hey, if I spend $1 and I make 10 cents, I'm already profitable. No, you're not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why when you're setting up a marketing campaign, you really have to look at what the return is going to be and what is your North Star? What is your goal with that campaign? When we're doing whitening in our office, for instance, and I'm doing a $99 special, my average walkout is $2,400.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because I'm able to say to most of our patients that they're not a good candidate for it, and they're not, and that I would be willing to do 6 teeth and bonding, instant gratification,
Mm-hmm.
still whiten their teeth, and give them that money, the $2,400 back if they decide to do a veneer case within 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good whitening campaign. Otherwise, they're all losers because if you take your overhead and everything else like that, and you're doing it in the chair, then there's no reason to market for anything like that, unless if
That's right.
you're planning on the loss leader. And so when you're doing the planning, we have to be really serious about this. So right now we're doing the end of the year. And so you talked about sending out thousands of letters and now you did it through RevenueWell. So
Mm-hmm.
besides saving you money, you've tested your patient base.
Mm-hmm.
You actually went out and you did an A/B tested, and you are actually going to get a great result. Besides, you're going to be able to track it. I
Yes.
send it out to these many people. These many people came in. These are the dollars that I made. These are the services that I provided. Now you know out of that campaign what services your patients are looking for. Are they just trying to sneak in for a last minute profit? Now, I do this campaign with the end of the year insurance benefits reminders multiple times a year because I'm not only looking at calendar year people, but fiscal year people as well.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that I'm going is I'm looking at my hygiene schedule and I'm running a different campaign for them versus my restorative schedule. Because how cool is it to say that I want to do end of the year insurance benefits reminder to those people that have money and have proposed services?
Yes.
Now you're filling out your restorative schedule. Most of the revenue wellers that follow our lead will actually, in October, be completely booked out for the rest of the year. They're also looking at the beginning of the year. So the best campaign besides end of the year insurance is the beginning of the year insurance, where we can say anybody that we need to place implants right now, and we're already scheduling them for January and February for the restoration because they're going to get their money back again. And so I'm building out that as well. The slowest period of the year, which is for me July and August, I'm doing the end of the year in June, letting patients know we're reaching out to you early so we can get things done on your schedule instead of squeezing you in at the last minute. And a
Yes.
lot of patients come out of the woodwork and schedule. So these are the things that we're training our customers to be able to be proactive and not only look at what is going to happen this month or next month, but actually execute on a plan of marketing internally for the next 12 months.
Yeah. See, that's why I was so super excited about this interview because not only that I get to know Alex a little bit better, but I get to extract some great ideas and business knowledge from Alex to share with our customers, because those are great advice, right? And your software has the ability to send out campaigns, and it doesn't cost anything. Usually, like I said a while ago, when we send out a whole bunch of postcards, the minimum cost is usually about $3,000 to $4,000, $5,000. And,
Sure.
and you just talk about sending out campaign for treatment plans, pending treatment plans, and
Correct.
not just one time, but you have the ability to send it out 4 or 5 times, right?
Correct.
And in marketing, they say that people need to expose to it or see it at least I think 3 or 5 times before they remember and register, right?
Correct. And not only do they need to see it, but the follow-up is the key.
Yes.
That's what we're leaving on the table. Every practice, and I've analyzed thousands of practice. I travel 200 days a year. I do all the major conventions, and I have thousands of clients. That's what they're missing. They're missing the follow-up part to be able to bring a patient back after they propose services. They're doing great and getting acceptance, but that's what they're missing. So we're educating them in many different ways. Newsletters, soft touches. Hey, this is, Oral Cancer Awareness Month. This is Hygiene Month and everything. The value of being able to bring your patients back for recare is huge.
Yes.
Because that's where you get to look at your patients. That's where you're talking about treatment, preventing things from happening, catching things in time. And that's how you build better relationships. And you do not look like a used car salesperson. And that's what we're reading sometimes. I mean, you came up with a great program for reviews. And a
Yeah.
lot of the reviews that are negative, it's my dentist is actually trying to sell me something that I don't think that I need.
Yes.
But because we're so passionate and we are so interested and we have a higher level of communication, we may come off looking that way. And when we do tremendous shotgun approach, we're putting a lot of stress on our database.
Yes.
Have to be very careful with that, because a stressed database is the same as a stressed wife or stressed kids. They don't react to everything that you say the same way as when they're relaxed and things are going due course. And that's what's happening with other programs, is they're stressing the living daylights out of our patients unnecessarily. And we don't know anything about that.
Yes.
So that's why the communication to individuals saying, hey, Nathan, we diagnosed you with this, and this is something that you need to do. And by the way, you have money on insurance, and if not, here's an opportunity of spreading it out over a little period of time. So, question to you. Do you do Invisalign?
I do clear correct and conventional braces.
Fantastic. How
Yeah.
much is a clear correct cost?
The lab fee, or how much we charge?
What do you charge?
We usually charge around $5,000. Sometimes they get a little discount here and there.
So I'm glad that you're paying attention to what I'm saying. So with that, you can compete with the orthodontist because the orthodontist is going to bring them at $99 a month.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So if we do through hygiene or when you're doing your checks and you're identifying that this particular person is great for that type of service and you treatment plan them, why not do a campaign at the end of the month and saying, hey, all of you guys been into this practice. We say that you're a great candidate and here's a special for you because we do these cases so often. We can deliver it at $129 a month. If you qualify, reach out to us and so on and so forth. We've been watching the sales of those type of aligners go through the roof with just those basic campaigns. And what people don't realize is that no matter what, if I'm doing a $5,000 case, I could ask you for $1,000 down payment and $99 a month.
Yeah.
And so that's how we actually are training our customers to move forward with those campaigns, and we're getting people to come back in. We can create all of the big stuff, but we haven't talked about a very powerful tool that we've been using successfully as well.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask you about some of the features that you have developed for RevenueWell. Let's talk about how you came up with some of these features. And I noticed that you just add a whole bunch of advanced feature just I think couple weeks ago, right? So
Yes.
let's talk about that.
So we wanted to do revenue-driven stuff, and we wanted to take our patient from the point that they find you online and decide to go in. So one of the things that is very unique to us is the ability to automatically send out a welcome packet.
Mm.
So as soon as a new patient gets onto the schedule, a welcome packet comes out. Now, with that, you have many different things. And we use YouTube to record welcome to the practice video.
Mm.
Once we have that, we can showcase the practice. We can talk about the services that we do. Do they need this done? Do they need that done? We can tell them what to expect during the day. We have forms that are only $79 a month. I mean, the least expensive product, which is really top notch, which I'm upgrading again in the
Yeah.
very near future, that they can fill out their forms online. And so when they come in, marketing already has worked because I already seen your face. I already seen somebody at the front. I'm more familiar. I'm more comfortable. I'm going to see a doctor that has a huge smile instead of somebody that is grouchy. So that's number one. Number two is we have to understand that as they're coming in, they're going to have treatment. So treatment plan follow-up is very important. Patients that don't have a future appointment for recall. Patients that have not been in a while for many reasons. And you know that when was the last time you got a prophy doc? You know, so we're talking about being busy and they're busy, so they might have just skipped a beat or anything else like that. Patients that have money, insurance, right? 80% of the practices have 80% of the patients on insurance. If you do the numbers, it's staggering. The end of the year, if you did the insurance benefits reminders, possibly gives you $500,000 of opportunity.
Yeah.
How cool would it be to catch 10% of that? You know, that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about conquering the world. Newsletters, campaigns, direct campaigns. We've never seen anybody do it. It's always been, we do implants. It's like, okay, what does it have to be with me versus you have a missing tooth, you have a proposal. So that's where we're actually separating ourselves from everybody. And as you start using more and more of the features, you will be very happy with it. Now, patient education videos and the treatment plan follow-up is very important. We have all kinds of social media stuff. Now, are we social media experts? No, but you don't have to spend another $300 to a social media expert because we are actually not getting what we thought we would get out of Facebook. And especially
Mm-hmm.
the way the algorithm is changing. Should we be
Mm-hmm.
there? Absolutely. Should we
Mm-hmm.
send cute things? Absolutely. Now, you're a designer, you're everything in the world, but 99.999% of the people are not. So by us providing social media content, it's fantastic. Feedback. Feedback is great. You can do it in many different ways. And we came up with an app that is free in order to text. People love to text. You have a great system for those of us who don't have RevenueWell, and it's very
Yeah.
advantageous. You have a way to get people on Google, and so do we. But we then take all the reputation that you have, and we can actually showcase it. We have an app for Facebook where we can choose to display the reviews that we want. We are located on Google local page. We are Patient Connect 365. So we give you so many different ways to get found online, and the videos. When you do a treatment plan follow-up and you send a letter, that's fantastic. But I could send you samples of some of the doctors that are using RevenueWell that record their own videos and talk about the why. Why am I getting this video out in front of you? And so a
Mm.
lot of our customers are reacting to that just like crazy. And so I use an app called Big VU. It's a free app, and it's a little teleprompter onto
Mm-hmm.
your iPhone. So you can now do a little Word document inside the app. It tells you how long it's going to be, put it in front of you, read it, and you're a professional video person. Now, I do advise professionals coming in doing some videos just like Welcome to the Practice, but you can send out YouTube videos. You can have people land on your YouTube channel where you can market all of these other things that you may not have time or may not think that the patient wants, because a lot of us pre-qualify patients. This one can't afford it, and this one I know is not going to do it. And that is not the case, because there's a whole bunch of things that people do to afford many different things, and dentistry is one of them. So we have these tools, and there's hundreds of them to list. The big thing is I'm stressing that it's revenue driven. It's not there just to confirm appointment, to get somebody to spend money with you. It's to raise your production. It's to be more successful so you can do the things that you want to do in your practice and not have to worry about it. Just think about it. You did over $1 million. There's
Mm-hmm.
no question about it. I don't know exactly how much over, but I'm thinking close to two. If we do a detailed treatment plan report inside your practice management, I will find $1 million in there right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a lot of revenue well that we haven't tapped into yet, and now I'm venturing into something else. But anyway, you know what? Revenue well has great advanced feature that was designed and came up by an entrepreneur, by a business person, and not just someone that just create a tool to make money. And as you can tell from Alex there, he's like a not only a dental consultant but a business consultant. So if you're watching this interview, I'm sure if you follow his advice, you will be able to increase your revenue by 10-20% without having to do much at all. And I gotta share this with you. There was some software out there that try to keep up with the patients by sending out newsletters and emails and all that, right? And they're charging about $60,000-$70,000 a year, which is about $5,000 to $6,000 a month. And
Yeah.
with revenue well, it's only cost about $3,000-$4,000 a year. And you guys have so many features. And I have to mention something else as well, and that is support. Support is huge, and your company is so established that you have awesome support, right? I called Michelle
Yeah.
the other day, and I said, Michelle, I noticed that RevenueWell just came out with a whole bunch of new features. I need somebody in to help me master, actually help my team master each feature, because I don't want to spend hours and hours and try to figure out how to use those features when
Sure.
you have awesome support that live close by to my office, and then you have a team in place for people to call in for support as well, right? So
Yes.
so awesome.
No charge for any additional training.
Yeah.
So if you have any additional employees, if you want to just grow their mind, Nathan, you talk about coaches and
Yeah.
consultants. And so we have hundreds. If I were to count, we probably have 300 affiliate coaches that are using our system to implement the things that they're training. And that is the
Yes.
biggest thing, is the most difficult thing in the world. I could teach you anything and you can teach me anything, but to get you to actually do it, or to get your team on board, is the most difficult part. And so
That's
we
right.
have a lot of coaches that are using our system in order to implement what they're teaching. So to give time to the staff members to be able to build better relationships while the patients are there, and it's been working out pretty well.
Yeah, that's awesome. You have a great support team behind you for sure. So for the newer dentists that looking to pick a patient communication platform, and there's so many out there, right? What questions should they ask themselves when they look for a platform to pick for their practice? But you and I know all the features, and I'm pretty sure you know more about your competitors than I do. So what kind of features should they be looking for, and what questions should they ask themselves before they pick a platform to use for their practice?
More and more, what we're seeing are dentists that are working really diligently in entering things into their practice management software. So they have this data that they can actually go and mine. And that is very important. How do I mine my data? How do I choose certain type of procedures, certain type of patient to get this information out to? Number two is, how do I look online? How will I look online when somebody searches for me? Will I come up in Google? Will I come up with Patient Connect 365, which is an additional website that is very easily found, and that's something that we're going to be working with you on, modifying
Mm-hmm.
that. What opportunities do I actually have in tracking my success? And how much will it cost me? And what actually does it have? And if you're looking for a solid solution that works with EagleSoft, Dentrix, PracticeWorks, Open Dental, and soon with a couple of other practice management softwares, you really have to ask yourself a question. Will I be using the system to help my office to be more efficient? Or am I going to use a system to help me grow my practice? If you want to grow your practice, we're the only system out there that is actually going to allow you to do the type of marketing without stressing out your patients.
That's very important to know right there. So it's a system not only to remind the patients of their appointments or follow up on treatments, but it's a system to help practice owner grow and make more money, right?
And listen, we're there for that reason. Both you and I know that it takes 1 hour to do a 4-surface composite, MODBL. By the time you
Mm-hmm.
prep, you anesthetize, you do this, and you'll do $200. It takes 1 hour for you to do a crown prep. It takes 1 hour for you to place 4 implants. The crown prep will get you 1,000, the implants will get you 6,000, and an opportunity for additional stuff. That's what people don't realize. And we actually have the post-op instructions that help the patient follow the journey. For instance, I extracted the tooth. We give them post-op instructions on what to do immediately. Second one comes out in 7 days, talking about chances are we spoke about implants. Chances are you have an appointment, but if you don't, you need to make an appointment so we can check your vertical dimension.
Whoa, you know what? I'm so excited about one of your team members that are going to come to my practice in November to help me with RevenueWell and how to maximize its benefits, because Michelle is so awesome. I just want to say that. And when
Yes, you're getting
when,
Dina
yeah,
Zost, our
yeah.
best of the best.
Okay, when she comes, we will do a Facebook Live to show our members how RevenueWell works in action. Okay, live.
Yes,
So I'm excited about that. So
me too.
I know that all the features are so advanced and so beneficial, and everything that you have in your platform is very resourceful, because you have educational videos, you have like so many things on there. So
Yes.
what is your vision for RevenueWell in the next 5 years? I wonder what else you can implement to make the software even better.
So, Nathan, here's the whole thing. Even though I'm one of the owners of RevenueWell, I'm a practice owner.
Ah.
And today, we're really getting nickel and dime. I have to pay $300 a month for my support for my Galileos. I have to pay $300 a month for my support for my CEREC. the bills are mounting up, and it's crazy of all the things that we have to do. So RevenueWell in the next 5 years is going to become an all-in-one solution to where you don't have to go anywhere else. And we're looking at prices that dentists are paying, $399 for a phone system, $100, $300, $400 for a review system, all of these. So I want to become that place, that platform where everybody comes and gets everything. And one of the things that we're going is the clinical part. We want to be more involved with the assistants. We want to be more involved with insurance. We want to be more involved with billing, statements out. We want to be more involved with the day-to-day operations. So we're building it. We have a great team of product people that understand dentistry, understand business, and understand the more value we give our customer, number one, the more likely they're going to use the things. Number two, they will stick with us for a lot longer. And number three, they will not need to just one number to call. Just one number to call. It's just like you, right? You have a patient and you need to put an implant and the dentist doesn't do the implant. So they'll send it out to a specialist, whether it's a periodontist or an oral surgeon. Then the patient comes back and restores it. You do an amazing job and something fails. Who's responsible? It's like the computer. You bought a nice Dell computer that has Microsoft on it and you want to use Google and then something goes wrong. Like, who do you call? So RevenueWell wants to be that all-in-one solution for any startup practice, for anything. We're dealing a lot with college students right now, and we're going to be bringing them on. And so we have a goal of a single platform, not to take anybody out. I love everybody. These people are good, but to be able to give it to our customers so they can afford to take some money home.
Wow, what a great vision. And I'm sure your customers will be able to grow with you, hopefully for life. And the most important thing is you are creating positive impacts in their practice and ultimately their lives, right? Because the more money they have, the more they can invest in their kids' education, the more they can spend on their vacation. So you are making a positive impact in so many dentists.
Yeah, we're making front desk people more valuable. Yes. And so that's where it's all going. And so once we start interacting with the back end, it's just going to be much more smoother. And, things maybe like lab tracking, letting you know that you have a crown that is supposed to be delivered on January the 3rd, a lab that is supposed to come in on January the 1st. Is it here? Is it ready? So all of that is coming in the near future, and we're going to love it. And Nathan, I also want to give something special for your group.
Okay.
Because I know that a lot of your customers are going to be interested in just possibly learning or anything else like that. And I want to do a code. It is called Dental Win-Win 60. Okay, so anybody that sees this and would like to get a demo, try it out, see how it works, I have to tell you that without a contract, 99% of the folks stick with us. And that's something that is important. Get ready to roll for a long time, but it will give you 60 days free trial promotion on starting out. It's a value of $600. So if that's something that you want, absolutely. Nathan, maybe you can put up some kind of a link where they could click, or some information at the end of this video on how they can contact, and we will give you special support for your customers as well for the first 60 days. And the 60 days does not start until your whole entire team is trained and ready to go. So we want you to feel the effect. 10 times return. That means that in the first 60 days, if you follow our lead, you should get thousands of dollars in return already. The system will show you how it works.
You know what? Most companies only offer 7 days or 14 days, but maximum of 1 month of free trial. You're offering 2 months. That's amazing. Woo!
I want you to see how it works.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we get something for free, we're not pushing our team to learn more or anything else like that. But what happens is you set up certain things, and it takes about an hour to do. You
Yeah.
know, what most of the people are afraid of is, how are we going to learn this huge system? And I always tell the office managers, like, have you ever trained anybody? And they're like, absolutely, I'm great on training. Train us. Tell us when to confirm the appointments. Tell us when to do the recalls. Tell us when it's time to reactivate. When do we follow up on insurance? Tell us how to do things. We can do A/B testing. If it's not the way you thought it is, we'll just change it right up. But a lot of times we can help you just by looking at some of the things. And so you and I are going to go through this exercise, just you and I. We're going to do a patient analysis report with you, and we're going to look at 2 other reports, and we're going to make a plan for 2012 to grow your practice by 10% without having to spend money. I know you can produce it. So I'm really
Yes.
confident in you being able to produce. Now it's our turn to get you the patients to do that with.
Awesome. I'm so excited. And so guys, if you're watching, you got to take this offer right away, because it's 2 months of free trial, and not just to sign up for a software and you have to learn it on your own. Alex offered the full support in the first 2 months. So you might be able to gain a couple $1,000 without having to pay anything, right? And like Alex said, most of his customers are super happy after they go through the free trial. And so that might make a difference in your practice and in your career. So you got to take that offer right away. So before we end this interview, Alex, I know you are a super happy guy. I see you on Facebook all the time. You're enjoying life. Every post that you post on Facebook, you look super happy. So let me ask you a more of a personal question. What makes you happy in life?
To do the things that I want to do.
Mm.
I'm not stuck in a place where I'm consistently worried and everything else. I love the challenge. I love dentistry. I love helping my fellow dentists. I have tens of thousands of friends that are dentists. And by being able to do what I like to do, travel, spend time with my family, makes me a happy man, Nathan.
Hey, you know what? I want to follow your footstep, and that's why I love to work with a person like yourself. And I like to share that message and your advice to other entrepreneurs out there as well, and especially dentists, so we can have the freedom we want at some point in our life, right? Because we don't want to practice dentistry forever, and we, like David Phelps said, we want to have Plan B as well, just in case our back can't take it anymore. So I love this interview. You have shared a lot of great advice, not only about your software, but about business and about life. So thank you so much for this interview. I really appreciate you for sharing your stories and all the helpful tips that so many dentists can learn from. And I also appreciate every members for watching this Coffee Break interview video podcast with Alex Nudel. Until next time, take care.
See you, Nathan.